So, today we're going to be talking about social media strategy and how you can use your social media to get leads and turn those into book jobs. There will be a question section at the end, but if you have a question while I'm going through the slides, feel free to type that in the chat and someone on our team will respond. And if it doesn't get answered, then we'll answer it at the end. So, introducing myself, my name is Brittany. Here's some credentials so that you know that you can trust what I'm saying. I am Michelle's daughter, so I have been in the HVAC industry, like on the sidelines for my whole life. And I've been working in marketing since college, and I did some teaching in college too, so I have some experience communicating things to other adults. So I'm gonna let Michelle introduce herself, and then we'll get started.
Yes, I'm Michelle, and I am a former HVAC business owner, as well as we've owned this marketing business for the past 20 years, and we've also been agency of record for a distributor in the space as well. And we are excited to be here to talk to you about social media today.
So, social media and your online presence is the first thing that a homeowner will look for when they're trying to decide to pick you or not. Personally, if I am looking for a service or even like a restaurant or a business, the first thing that I do is I Google X near me, so like restaurant, HVAC, whatever. And then I look at your Google reviews and I look at your social media presence. I don't really pick anyone that has below a 4.5 on Google reviews. And then if your Instagram or Facebook looks like if you don't have one, then I'm like, okay, that's a little weird. And then if it looks like a little sketchy, then I'm not. I'm more likely to pick someone that has a higher online presence. So other people are doing that too for you. So it's really important that you have a well-established online presence with both your Google reviews and your Facebook and Instagram. So this is like the steps that happens when people are trying to decide if they want to pick you or not. So there's a trigger. In the example that I gave, it was me needing some kind of service. For your customers, it would be something in their AC breaks. Something's not working, they need something fixed. They would then do a search, like I said that I was doing, and then they would validate that. So it would be through your reviews, your website, your social media presence. And if you pass that part, then you get put on a short list, and then it turns into like a call competition. So you could be losing people before they're even considering calling you. And so we're going to talk today how we can get that fixed. So there's just some examples of what homeowners would actually like to see you posting. So you could do before and after installs, spotlights of your employees, customer testimonials, seasonal tips, and behind the scenes stuffs, and then maintenance reminder. So I have some visuals, and so this is what the post could look like. So we have the caption here. So for an example, I'm not going to read all of them, but for the before and after installs, you could post a picture showing before you did your work and then after. And that could even be like if you're doing a repair, you could take a picture of the thermostat and what the thermostat was cooled at before you repaired it and then afterward when you actually got it fixed. Doesn't have to be like a clean or dirty system like we showed here. But the caption could be out with the old, in with the efficient, and then you would explain what you did. And then at the end, you would put a call to action so that you could take that post and turn it into someone calling you and giving you a lead. And then, example of technician spotlight, you would just post someone, whether that was in front of your office sign or at the job. And then a customer testimonial. It wouldn't have to be a picture of the customer, but it could be a screenshot of their review or whatever, and then explaining their testimonial in their caption. But again, every single one has like a call to action. Seasonal HVAC tips, exactly what they sound like. Air filters, or you could talk about like indoor air quality with allergies and all that good stuff. Behind the scenes would be like your office staff. So that could be people that are answering the phone, your dispatchers, you even like the owners, talking about like their jobs, their roles, That also could count like for birthday posts. Could be an example of a behind the scene thing, celebrating your employees and their birthdays. And then maintenance reminders, obviously, reminding them when it's time to schedule their maintenance. So I'm going to pass it off to Michelle, and she's going to talk for a little bit about some more stuff.
Okay, good. That was great, Brittany. Thank you for those examples. The four things that every post needs, as Brittany just went through that section, was one, you have to have a message. So, what are you going to focus on? Let's make it one message. We see a lot of HVAC companies and contractors trying to put too much in the social media post. Remember that you only have about 1 second to earn their attention for them to even pay attention to what's next. So you need to focus on one message in your post, keep it simple, make sure it's not complicated because think about you've got to make it super quick for them to be able to pay attention and understand exactly what you're trying to communicate. Next, you want to focus on one audience. Design this for a specific person or an audience. So let's say you want it to be the air conditioning season and you want them to buy a new HVAC system because their unit died. So let's focus on that one particular audience. Like, did your air conditioning just die or is it about to die? Is it too old? Make it one specific audience. Then let's do a hierarchy, one hierarchy. Make sure you control what they notice. So what is going to draw their attention in the graphic that you're posting? Make sure it's only one central focus. Then let's do one call to action, just like Brittany mentioned before. You want them to call you? Do you want them to fill out a form? Do you want them to go to your website? You need to have one call to action so that they actually want to do exactly what you're saying. Next, what are the platforms that are actually making a difference in 2026? So Facebook is still great. It's awesome to do posts on Facebook for local engagement and community trust. Also, it's a great place to put those neighborhood groups and posting comments within Facebook. Make sure you're joining those in your local community. And when someone asks, hey, who should I get for HVAC or for a contractor specifically, make sure that you're able to tag that and see those type of leads. Also, Instagram is great. Facebook and Instagram together are on the Meta network. So when you do ads, make sure you're putting on both so that you're capturing a bigger audience. Instagram is really good for younger homeowners as well as visually displaying your brand. And then just make sure if you do any sort of reels or videos on Instagram that you make sure that it's clean. And if you do before and afters, don't show any customer identifying data like their car tag or their house address. You want to make sure that it's clear of any of that. Also, TikTok's a great place to be. Now, it does have a mixed audience, so you want to make sure that when you're putting information on there that you're targeting it to the right audience, just like we said in the original slide before. You want to make sure that you're giving quick tips and day in the life type of things. Those type of short, really quick TikTok videos are good, but you don't want to be on there talking forever. You'll just get skipped. YouTube, this is a huge opportunity for contractors. These can be really long videos, and make sure you put all of the details in the captions so that you're including the long tail SEO keywords and the content. Because think about YouTube just as Google. You're going to start showing up in the rankings for those type of things, and it's great for how-to videos and explaining more of a detailed approach on your online presence. Also, your Google Business Profile, don't forget about that. Even though that's technically not a social platform, it is a great place to put weekly posts as well as photos. You can also make sure there that your map is operating properly and you're showing up visibly. Next, a super important formula. You want to have awareness, trust, engagement, and conversions. So, what do I mean by awareness? You want to explain, have system explainers, seasonal reminders. You got to make sure that you're showing up where you need to so that people can pay attention to this. It's really good for awareness for educational content and making sure that you're conveying exactly what you want the homeowner to know. Also, trust is huge. As Brittany mentioned earlier in this webinar, she, even as a homeowner, she's looking at reviews. She's looking at all the details of the online presence. What's going to build that trust for her and for other homeowners are the reviews that you have in Facebook as well as Google, and then also Yelp and all of the other review platforms. You're also going to want to make sure that you put in the team photos and highlight your team because people want to know who's coming to their house. So make sure you're representing your team well online and making sure that you feel like you're or convey that you're the safe choice for them to choose. Also, engagement is huge. So if you are posting online, you're writing content on Google or YouTube, and someone asks a question or they comment to you or any of that information, you want to make sure that you're answering those direct messages within an hour. If you can, it'd be great within a few minutes. Have someone on your team make sure they're paying attention to that because when customers are actually communicating with you, they need something right away. Heating and air and other contractor businesses are not just like lifestyle brands like shoes. They need something right when they're looking. So make sure you pay attention to that. Also, make sure you have clear call to actions. And what do you want them to do whenever you're posting? Do you want them to call you? Do you want them to go online and book an appointment? Make sure that you're paying attention to the funnel and you actually have a conversion goal in mind. Next, video. This goes really well with YouTube and all of the video content related to that. Authenticity beats production any day of the week. So just as we're doing these webinars, you're getting to know us. We're doing these videos so that you can see, hey, this is really working. This is not working. This is what we recommend. Same thing for you. Homeowners are looking for that. Videos such as reels and short videos, even those within Facebook and Instagram are great. They're going to highlight your team and they're going to make people say, hey, these people are real. You can also build faster trust that way too. And some ideas, if you're in the HVAC space specifically, some great things would be 3 signs that your HVAC is about to fail. Have a technician walk around maybe the outside unit, or like Brittany said earlier, with the thermostat and explain some things that are like simple and quick. What can you be looking for so that you make sure you're not, dying in the summer heat? Another thing, what does a tune-up really include? Most homeowners don't understand what does a tune-up mean. Yes, you can go get your car tuned up and different things like that, but in our HVAC system, what does it actually mean? So why not show a checklist or explain exactly what it is so that they understand what they're getting? Also, another great idea is doing homeowner question and answers. Like I said, a lot of homeowners don't understand any contracting business, and especially HVAC because it can be so complicated. So why not have some question and answers with a homeowner that you can trust and that trusts you? And that way it relates to your audience so that they can see, oh, this homeowner had the same question. And that's a good way to put videos online to beat the production. Uh, People ask all the time, what is the content mix? What should we be doing online? And here are some ideas for you. You don't have to follow this step by step, but 50% of it, let's make it educational. We want to tell homeowners exactly what it is that they're looking for so that they'll know that they need you whenever they're looking online. Let's do 30% of trust building. So customer reviews, team photos, even the birthday post that Brittany mentioned earlier. Behind the scenes, those would be great trust building ideas. And then let's make 20% of it promotional. So your offers, your rebates, any specials, emergency service ideas. But remember, in every single one of these buckets, you want to have a call to action. Don't forget the call to action. Even though you're not specifically talking about that in every single post, give them a way to get in touch with you at the end. How to convert attention into book jobs. How do you do that? Just like we mentioned just a minute ago, booking those with clear call to actions on every post. For example, call today, same day service if you have some opening in your schedule. Schedule your tune up online or claim a special. Give them exact details like click here, go to our landing page. Make sure your page has one offer, one call to action. You don't want them to be confused. What do I need to do when I land here? Also, you could do forms on social media as well. That works, or forms on your website. And if you have a service software that can integrate those type of things, the call to action on your social media could connect directly to that particular service software booking form. And that is a great way to convert and turn into book jobs as well. And then reminder, make sure that you are responding quickly, especially in the heat of the summer. And let's don't forget your reviews. This was a study that was recently done. 91% of homeowners say online reviews are more important when they are very important whenever they're choosing a HVAC contractor or any contractor for that matter. So make sure you're paying attention to those. A great way to do that is to ask them right whenever you update their system or complete their job. There's a way that you can give like a tappable card with an NFC chip or a QR code on a card and have that linked directly to your Google or Facebook. That's a great way to build reviews right away. Also, you can text a link to the customer, and that makes it easy. And a lot of service softwares will do this for you as well. You just have to configure it on the back end. And then make sure, don't forget to respond to those reviews online. So once they do give you a review, let's go in and personally respond so that it looks like you actually read the review and don't just put like a generic in there that says, hey, thanks for your review. Let's make it engaging, and it signals to Google that you're not typing the same thing in over and over and over. So another great thing to do related to social media is use those reviews inside of your social media so that you can build that trust factor. Now let's talk about paid social. So this is where you have to go in the back end of Meta, which is in the Facebook and Instagram section. And you're going to place ads if you want to in there. And this is where you're going to want to target it inside of your zip codes and your service area only. We see this as a huge mistake that a lot of contractors do, where they go in there and they don't pay attention to what the ad structure needs to be, and you can waste money that way. So just be careful. Here's some ideas that you could run. Let's do a couple of months before the busy season, run those maintenance campaigns. And so you'd want to tie it to a maintenance image that you would post or a maintenance video, and you would want to put that in the back end of the Meta network. Also, a great paid social idea is your branded content. So do your company videos, your branded campaigns. Who is this particular company? Let's show some of your vehicles so they can recognize you when you're on the street, when they're on the street and you're driving around as well. So it's important to do that. And then also emergency repairs. As you know, specifically with heating and air, when you need it, you need it. So let's capture them in the ads in the Meta platform right when they need it and have a good call to action. And then don't forget those installations. That is the highest intent if they need something right away. This is a benchmark. Oh, go back one more. This is a benchmark. Try to get those leads under $55. Make sure you're capturing your return on investment as you're analyzing everything. You don't want to waste money on social because you've got to have the right messaging. So just make sure you're analyzing that. If you're having call tracking, if your return on investment dashboard is connected, that's just a benchmark that we've seen this year. And like I was talking about just a second ago, paid ads, there are some pitfalls. So I wanted to give you a list of the things to look out for. Inside the back end of the Meta network, there's an audience section that you have to tailor to actual homeowners in your area. Let's turn off the third-party apps like gaming and Facebook sales network, like the Facebook. What is that you call, Brittany, whenever you shop? Facebook
Marketplace.
Marketplace. Thank you. Sorry, my brain went away. The Facebook Marketplace, we sometimes don't see great return on that because if they're on Facebook Marketplace, they're looking for shoes or cars or something like that. So we turn off those third-party apps. We want to capture them right in the platform. Also, make sure whenever you're doing your creatives that you are creating them for each individual avenue. So a Reels placement is going to have a different creative structure than a horizontal one or a square image. When you're in the back end of the Meta network, you're going to have a lot of different creatives that you're going to need to load or it won't look right. That is another pitfall where you could potentially lose money and lose quality. Also, we avoid messenger placement. That generally produces low quality leads. So turn that off when you're doing the ad placement. And then also, this is a huge one that we see, and you probably have seen this too. There's a small little checkbox that you have to uncheck because if you don't, for verifying your location targeting, anybody that's interested in your area, like let's say you're in Atlanta, Georgia, if you're in Atlanta and then someone is in California, but they type the word Atlanta and they're looking for something in Facebook, if you don't turn off that they have to be living in my location, you may show up in other areas of the country. And so make sure you pay attention to that whenever you're placing your ads so that you're not showing up in a service territory that is outside of your network. Now I'm going to pass it back to Brittany and she's going to keep talking about more social media.
So we're going to go back to posts now. So I'm going to talk about 5 mistakes that you might be making what in your posts. So the first is relating to the algorithm specifically. So if you post inconsistently, the algorithm does not favor that. And for anyone that may not know, social media works on algorithms, just like how your YouTube does, your ads, like all of those things. It's showing you things, it's showing the customer things that they think that they would like. So if you're not consistent, you're not going to be pushed onto other people's algorithm. So you want to be posting regularly. And we'll talk about how you can do that easier in, I think, the next slide. But that's the first mistake. You have to have consistency, whether that's once a week, couple times a week, um, but you have to do that pretty regularly. You can't do 3 posts a day and then not post for 3 weeks because you're going to get lost the next time you try and post because the algorithm has forgotten about you. Second thing, so treating your social media like a billboard. This goes with the authenticity part that we were talking about. If every post is trying to sell you something, you're not capturing your customers. For example, on Instagram now, they've stopped branding stories that are ads as ads. And so if you're posting only like things that you're trying to sell, like trying to capture their money, they may just swipe past and think automatically it's a paid ad because they're not labeling those things anymore. So you want to build trust and awareness with your customer and not only post things that you're trying to get them to buy. Third mistake is ignoring comments and DMs, like we talked about before. If someone is DMing you, it's likely someone that's my age because they don't want to pick up the phone to call you, but also they want a response. And if another company responds within 5 minutes and you don't respond until the next morning, they've called your competitor. So you want to be responding to DMs. And I'm not saying responding to your Facebook DMs at like midnight. No, no, like you can have work-life balance. But if you're getting a DM, you should be trying to respond to it quickly, or you might be losing that lead. The next thing is phone pictures that don't have any thoughts to them. If that's just like really grainy or the camera's not cleaned off or the picture isn't the best quality, that could just be something that is swiped past and the person doesn't give them a second look. Lastly, if you're not tracking things, so if you're not tracking your engagement on each post, if you're not making sure that what you're posting is reaching other people, you're not going to know what's good and what's not. So in an Instagram business profile, every post has different metrics that you can look at. You can see if someone has shared your post, how many times that's been shared. You can see how many times something has been viewed. Um, you can see how many times that post has been bookmarked. So there's a lot of statistics that if you're not paying attention to, you won't know what works and what doesn't. So this is an example of a weekly posting schedule. It's called a social media calendar, and you can plan out roughly what you're going to post each week or even monthly so that you know and you're not just sitting down at your phone not having an idea what you're going to post for that day. So just some examples, it doesn't have to be this specifically, but you can have an educational tip one day. You could post something to your story one day instead of it actually being a feed post. Um, and if you don't know the difference between those, ask in the question section and I can show you my own Instagram and show you the difference between the post and the story. But you could do that. And then Wednesday, you could do a team shout out. Thursday would be a review. Friday could be an ad or promo, or some tune-up special that you're doing. Saturday, you could just work on replying to comments, responding to DMs, and then Sunday could be your planning for the next week. So down here, we can see that the volume target for each week, so that should be goals. So you should be doing 5 feed posts, 2 reels, and daily stories. I know that seems like a lot, but starting is better than nothing. So even if that's just 2 posts a week, and maybe you do a story twice a week, the same day you're posting, like that's better than not doing anything. So we also want to be focusing on business metrics and not the things that fuel your ego. So while I was talking earlier about impressions, those are important, but we want those impressions to turn into actual leads. We want you to be having website clicks, phone calls, form submissions, all that good stuff. So we want the social media to reach people, but we also want them to be acting on that. So posting can be overwhelming, especially when you have 5 posts a week that you're supposed to be doing to be successful. You can use a planning platform. You can go in and connect your social media to this platform and you can schedule out your posts. This screenshot is an example of just the one that we use, but you can use whatever you'd like. And there's a way to select the social media channels. So you can say, I want to post this to Facebook and Instagram, or I just want to post this to Instagram. And then you put in your caption and your media, and then you post that. There are also platforms that will show you when the best time to post is based on engagement. So it'll tell you when the most successful time to post is based on the algorithm, and that you can have those options to schedule at that time too. And then there's also some AI options too when you're posting. Our specific platform will like say, "Hey, do you want to do this AI post?" You have to be careful because sometimes the AI may not know exactly what you're trying to post, but it can give you some ideas to start. So to wrap things up, these are 5 things that you should remember from this webinar. First, social media should be used to build trust. So we want them to, like I said at the beginning, see your social media and know that you are a trustworthy and reliable company and that you're actually doing what you're saying that you're doing. That then triggers them to call you. Second, you need to be consistent. You need to be posting regularly, and not going silent for a month and then coming back to it. Um, Third, be educational in your content. Like she was saying with the homeowner Q&As, if you know what you're talking about, people will buy from you. And also, if you push educational content over promotional content, that conveys to me that you care about my knowledge and me making the best informed decision as a consumer. So that's really important as opposed to, oh, you're just trying to get my money. Fourth, video is really good for social success right now on social media. Algorithms push videos. So I would say if you're trying to pick between posting and a reel, like what number of those you want to do, I would honestly say if you're stressed out about the number of posts, I would say do maybe 2 posts a week and one reel as opposed to 5 posts a week and no reels, because the algorithm favors the video content. And then fifth, companies that show up like I was saying before with the reviews and your social media, they win jobs and they're the ones that get called. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen so that I can see the questions that come in, but now we're going to talk and have some question time. Um, okay, so there's a question from Shelby. She said, "Do you use specific software or stock photos to create your social media posts, or is there something specific that you would recommend?" So, for us, we do use stock photos sometimes, but we prefer when our customers give us their own photos. So, if you don't, we use like Carrier or Bryant branded stock photos, and then we'll add like your license number and your logos. But honestly, it is preferred that you use your own photos.
Also, too, if you don't want to use the content that's from your manufacturer, there's a online site called shutterstock.com, and you can actually buy licensing there. You want to make sure you don't just go copy the photos there because they are not royalty free. So you'd want to create an account. You can get all sorts of images on there and just make sure you keep up with what you're purchasing and that you're using it as a business license. You can use that in addition to things like, for example, if we want to create like a social media one for birthdays, there might be a really cute birthday collage that we can then add a photo to. So we use Shutterstock as well for a lot of our dealer photos, and we purchase them there so that they're protected. Also, too, you're welcome. Also, too, creating a QR code. I know our team answered uh, one of the questions already. How do you create a QR code for reviews that techs can have on their phone? So a great way to do that is to go into your Google Business profile, and there is a button there that says Ask for Reviews. Google actually started including the Google QR codes right there. There's also QR code Monkey is a great one that's free. And then also here, Adobe, just as our team had answered as well.
If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I'm probably going to give another minute for that.
Thank you, Loretta. Glad you were on.
Yeah, and if you don't have a question, feel free. We're done here. Thank you guys so much for listening. The recording will be sent out, and feel free to reach out and ask questions if you think of some later. You can email our support email, support at allcontractormarketing.com, or my personal one is just my first name, Brittany, at allcontractormarketing.com.